Right, Faceless Tech. Who remembers this, the not a lightsaber build? That was supposed to be electronic glow stick. I think it was last year, or the year before. A big, more honking monstrosity. It's not a lightsaber, but it is a lightsaber. Well, I decided to redo it because with this build, for some reason I was like, I need to have all the electronics, all the battery, everything in the handle, and then we have the glow stick up. But then recently I was like, wait a minute, I could just have a USB power bank, and then you can plug in the electronics via USB. So that is basically what I've done. So it's gone from that honking thing to this that plugs into it, and there it is. I'll go through this build. What I've done is got smaller LEDs this time. I used 5mm APA 106 LEDs, which are basically the same as WS2812 as well. So you can use them with the library, the Adafruit, I think it's Adafruit WS2812 library. They use the same. What I've done is similar to this other build. Was what I've done, attached it kind of like a circuit sculpture. I had two buzz bars going down the side. This time I used Ethernet solid core wire, which worked quite well. I just had one for ground, one for power, and then the data in, data out pins are basically just soldered the data in, and then it goes data out, the data in, and just snakes along like that, which is quite nice. But it was super tight build. The tube I got, I can't remember the diameter is, but it was only slightly wider, the internal diameter, than the actual LED. So each one I did solder. I had to solder it tightly against it, and then each one I had to do a fit to make sure it fitted, and then went on to the next one. And I left it quite clear so you can actually see the poor solder job I did on it. But yeah, the inside I did. I went with, instead of with this other build, I went with the other one. I had a Arduino Pro Mini, but this time I went with a 80 Tiny 85, which is the same, basically the same code that I used on my WS2812 smart glasses. It's the same code really, apart from this one's only got a three-way switch to pick between the different LED modes. So I just altered the code slightly. I've used my 3D printer again on this build. This was kind of one of them things, you know, when you're making the board and you're like, oh, I'll just 3D print a case for it, and then it come to actually do the case, design it and stuff. I was like, oh, wait a minute, because I wanted it to be quite equal either side, but obviously I forgot about the switch. You need accessibility to the switch. So I just had two screw holes here. I did go through a mountain of prototypes because it was a pain to get it all right. But what you basically got with the shell is, if I pick one of these, we've got the bottom one, where the electronics go into, and then you got the top piece, and it has like a little tag. Oh, I actually did that one back to front, didn't I? It has a little tag that it clips in here, so it holds this side, so it's screwed that side, because otherwise it might lift up. And then I had a hole for the reset pin, because the way I did the code was basically you flip the switch, and then it checks at the start of the in the setup script, it checks to see which position it's in, and then sets the thing, because you can't really have a button that changes the modes because of the timing issues with the library and so on. So I basically had it, got a white one, and then you flick the switch, press the reset button, and it'll change to whatever that is, and then do it again. This is my favourite one, the rainbow one. It's a bit weird, this camera, this phone I'm using, which is the Pixel 3a, does not like LEDs whatsoever. You get really bad banding. It's not so bad now, but if you have it, like I had it in the little I shoot my photos in like a little photo booth which had LEDs and these LEDs, and they're both counteracting each other, and it looked really horrible. But yeah, so it's really quite a nice small little build. I was quite pleased with it. It's a pain in the bum to do the LEDs. I don't think I'd make another one of these in a hurry. The boards are really small and cheap. I just had a this is not used for programming. I just use one of them SOP 8 clips that you can clip on to the chip. So you just normally what I do is breadboard out the code on a breadboard, which I use this One is like an adapter I made with that actually sold an 8010, the SMD version to it, and that's the breakout pins and reset button. So I get all the code ready on this. When it's done, it's finished. I basically solder it on, and that's the first thing I'll do is solder the chip on, and then I'll burn the bootloader, burn the code, and then I'll build the rest of the circuit, and then that's it. It's done. Hopefully there's no other bugs after that. But you know, there always is bugs. But yeah, as usual, a link in the description with I'm going to have the design files in FreeCAD and the STL files, so you can print one if you want. It's a really pain in the bum to print because of the way I've done this here. There's no real like good way of printing it. I printed it in two different ways because I printed it. See if I can find one. I printed it like this, which was that way on the bed. So like it's got a really rough cone to it, but I ended up printing it with the support in the middle where you can't see. But that also had some different side effects because the sidewall is only a mil thick, so basically you can easily snap that whilst you're trying to get the support out. But yeah, so anyway, thanks for watching, bye.